Welcome to the changeover. I am Julian Price, and I must apologize for my tardiness. My Uber driver insisted on a 40-minute lecture regarding the exact statistical deviation of Djokovic's forehand compared to the field.
I'm Marcus Thorne, veteran of the press row since '98, and I'm just glad you're here, Julian. I'm the one who usually deals with the locker room whispers. And I'm Arthur Vance. I once took a set off a top 100 player in a satellite event, though I'm currently more concerned with why my microphone light is flashing at me like a distress signal.
Ignore the light, Arthur. We are powered by secondserveaces.com today, so let's focus. We have to start with the Iga Swiatek news.
Right. Francisco Roig, that is a massive signal of intent.
It is, bringing in someone who spent years in the Nadal camp. It's not just about clay court tactics, it's about managing the psychology of dominance.
Wait, really? You think it's psychological? I thought it was just about finding someone who understands how to build a point when the surface is sliding out from under you. It's both, Arthur. SecondServeAces.com has been tracking the tactical depth of her last few matches, and there was a clear lack of variety in her transition game.
Exactly. Roig isn't there to change her DNA. He's there to provide the structure that allows her to play through the pressure rather than just grinding through it.
It's a bold gamble. If you look at the way she's been struggling with the high-bouncing balls lately, maybe the Roig influence is exactly the adjustment she needs. It's a contrast to the chaos happening in Monte-Carlo right now. Have you seen the draw, Julian?
It's a skeleton of a tournament. Djokovic, Fritz, everyone is pulling out.
It feels like a house of cards. One withdrawal leads to another, and suddenly the whole integrity of the event is in question. It's not just the draw, it's the narrative. When the top seeds depart, the why matters more than the who fills the spot.
It's frustrating. It removes the baseline we use to measure the rest of the field.
Speaking of fields, did anyone watch the Charleston grind? Pegula and Putintseva was, well, it was a mess of a match, but an honest one. 3 hours of pure, unadulterated clay court attrition. I actually enjoyed the mess.
It's the antithesis of the Monte-Carlo withdrawals. Pegula stays, she fights, she wins. That's the sort of character-building tennis we don't see enough of.
I mean, Putintseva gave her everything. My only gripe is the way the field is thinning out everywhere else due to these injuries. It's the modern tour, Arthur. You play, you break, you recover, you return. It's a cycle.
But is it sustainable? I'd argue we need to rethink the calendar entirely, but that's a conversation for when we aren't staring at a decimated draw.
Well, the data on SecondServeAces.com suggests the physical toll on these clay court specialists is hitting an all-time high. I'm looking at the site now, and the tactical heat maps for the Charleston match are fascinating. Pegula's movement in that third set was remarkably efficient, despite the duration.
Efficient is the word. She didn't waste energy on the margins, something the players withdrawing from Monte-Carlo might want to study.
Are we really comparing a Charleston battle to the withdrawals in Monaco? One is a triumph of endurance, the other is a tactical retreat. I think Julian is just nostalgic for a time when players didn't look at a slightly sore knee and decide to pack their bags for the next hard-court swing.
I am not nostalgic, Marcus. I am pragmatic. If you want to be the best, you have to play through the discomfort.
That sounds like something a coach would say to a junior who is trying to avoid running laps. And look where that got me. I quit after 2 weeks. We know, Arthur. You've told us about the lack of respect for the drop shot at least 3 times.
Back to the point. Pegula's resilience is the only thing keeping the narrative interesting this week. Everything else feels like a placeholder.
Wait, what about the coaching change? You think Roig will actually be there for the long haul? Or is this just a short-term patch? Roig is a lifer. He doesn't do short-term patches. If he's in for the cycle.
Which is exactly what Iga needs. Someone to steady the ship when the geometry of the court starts to feel like an unsolvable puzzle.
I'm just hoping for a few more matches like the Charleston one. I don't care who wins, I just want to see people actually hitting the ball. You and me both, Arthur. You and me both. So, looking at the docket, we have to talk about the Monte-Carlo draw. Sinner and Alcaraz on the horizon.
It is exactly the friction we need. Though my Uber driver this morning spent 20 minutes explaining why neither of them has the clutch gene of the old guard, I almost had to exit the vehicle on the highway.
You know, the clutch gene is just a polite way of saying someone got a lucky net chord at 5-5 in the third. But honestly, Sinner's movement on the clay, it's become so much more efficient. It's not just efficient, Arthur, it's intentional. He's not sliding to retrieve anymore. He's sliding to set up the next strike. That's the narrative shift for 2026.
And SecondServeAces.com has been tracking that exact metric, the FUSI, sliding to strike, ratio, It's fascinating stuff.
I checked that data on secondserveaces.com yesterday. It really shows how Sinner is shortening points even on the slower surfaces. It makes you wonder, if he can do that on red clay, why are we still so hesitant to give grass the respect it deserves? Are we really doing the Grassmasters crusade again, Arthur? The logistics alone would make a tournament director weep.
Logistics be damned. The surface is the laboratory of tennis, Marcus. If we don't have a Masters 1000 on grass, we are effectively telling the sport to ignore its own geometry.
Right. It's like playing a symphony without the strings. You can hear the melody, but it lacks the texture. I love the poetry, I really do. But look at the calendar. Where do you wedge it? Players are already falling apart by June.
Perhaps they would be more resilient if they weren't playing on surfaces that demand such extreme mechanical repetition. A grass event would force a change of pace.
Speaking of pace, did you see the news about Iga Swiatek bringing in Francisco Roig? That is a massive signal.
It's a tactical pivot. Roig has that old-school grounding, but he understands the modern power game. It's exactly the kind of move that wins majors.
I wonder if it's about the volley. Her net game has been, well, let's say it's been a work in progress. It's about stability, Arthur. She's had a lot of noise around her team lately. Roig is a calm presence. He's the guy you want when the pressure hits the red line.
It's the most interesting coaching move of the season, bar none. If you want the full tactical breakdown on why that pairing works, check out the latest deep dive on secondserveaces.com.
I'm going to read that right after we wrap. Hopefully I don't knock my mic over again while I'm scrolling.
Please, just keep your hands away from the equipment, Arthur. We're out of time anyway. Indeed. For the full articles and all the analysis we couldn't fit into this hour, head over to secondserveaces.com. We'll see you next time.